I wanted to come out here and talk about a very important subject, nursing school. Desiree was the one who asked me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people may have some question. Why do I say nursing school weed you out? So we're going to talk about that. Weed out of nursing school? I know I'm not talking about weed, the weed that you smoke. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the difficulty that to stay in school and to graduate and then passing. We won't get to passing until we figure out how we're going to get out of nursing school or how we're going to get in. So when I talk about weed you out, the school weed you out, no, I'm not talking about weed. I just want to be clear, and you only heard it from me. Imagine you're excited, you got in the nursing program. It was hard getting in, wasn't it? You got to pass those competency tests. The test wasn't even like, I think it was a combination. I want to say it's like high school. All the things that you learn in high school, they put it in a little test and test your knowledge. It wasn't about nursing. Am I correct? Nursing school, weed you out. Nursing students, weed out of school. And you imagine that it was just going to be fun. Nursing school wasn't going to be as hard as people say. I started and I learned from, when I talk about issues, I'm talking about my experience. I'm not making them up. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to give you the reality so you know what you're dealing with. When we started out, 200, you may start out with 200 students in nursing school. You say, wow, all these people are going to be a nurse. And by the time you are one of the fortunate and you get to the end, it's graduation time. And it's only like 50 or maybe 25 students that's going to graduate. And you hear me, that's going to graduate. That's what they do. Now let's talk about this weeding you out and the difference, nursing school difficulty, the program. Don't think because you went to an LPN school, nursing school. Nursing school is nursing school, whether it's RN or LPN. It's going to be difficult. So LPN school training is the same. It may not have the same advanced context, but it's still difficult. It's a foreign country. You feel like you're in a foreign country when you're going to nursing school. Towards her students, she was very caring. And the other one, I won't even mention her name, was just mean. But it was reality. It's nursing school. That's how they act. And that's how the real world, when you get into the real world, that's how it is. I hate to tell you. And before you know it, next semester it's only 75. And before you know it, it's 50 or 25 people who's going to graduate. And you say, wow, I'm so glad. Thank you. I made it this far. And that's how I did every day. I mean, after I had that baby, I was still in the LPN program. I think a month after I had the baby, and they were discussing. They were making a discussion whether to put me in the next program. And the next program don't start until next year. So that means it would take me another year to wait it out to get back in the LPN program. And I said, oh, no way, don't discuss me without me being there. I am coming to school after I had the baby. I run so fast. I didn't run because I had to drive, but I went to school. After I had the baby, I went back to school and finished. And I'm glad that I had people in my corner that was, looking out for me. And I was able to go back and finish LPN program. And I was able to pass the first try and got a job. And so after I got the job, and I'm speaking to the LPNs now. After we get the job, we on the field, we on working as a real nurse. And an LPN, you may feel a sort of disrespect. You may feel like the RN doesn't respect you. They want you to do everything. They don't acknowledge you. They just want to sit around at the nurse's station while you do all the work. And that's how I felt. And at one point I said, well, let me go back to school as an RN. So I decided to go back to school as an RN. And we started out, I would say there was 150, and I was in LPN to RN program. It doesn't mean that everybody in that program was LPN. I automatically started the last year that the student who was in the 2-year program. So they were there, they know their friends, they see some of their friends came back. And then this year they see new faces like me and other LPNs that came in the program. So when I started at Bucks County Community College, there were no transportation to the school, and it's up where most of the students, their parents are doctors, pharmacies, lawyers. So it's up there in Dolestown, Pennsylvania, where there's a lot of rich Caucasian students. And they would come into this local community college, and it predominantly was it wasn't as diverse. And then about a year after I got to the school, then they opened up that transportation could come to Bucks County. And so now it's more diverse. So there were challenges in terms of if you didn't have a car, going to clinical up in Dolestown, going to clinical far away from where you live in Philadelphia. But I had, like I said, somebody was looking out for me, the director of nursing arranged it that I could go to school. My clinical level could be in Philadelphia, so where there's many transportation. So I was glad for that. I'm telling you this because you may be book smart. You may get 98 plus on your research paper, but if you cannot pass clinical, you pass your books, you pass lecture, you pass classroom, but if you cannot pass your clinical, means showing your instructor what you can do and retain the knowledge, because you do get tests on that in your clinical. If you pass your lecture and you don't pass your clinical, you automatically fail that section, and you have to come back when that particular, say you were in psych nursing and you passed your lecture but you didn't pass your psych clinical rotation, and psych clinical rotation won't come back till next year, and you have to wait next year. So that way you weed out. That's another weed out. You're going to fail. My advice, because when we were in the LPN program, there was a lot of LPN in there too. I'm sorry. When I was in the RN program, our LPN to RN program, there was quite a few LPN there trying to be like me, an RN. And I would just shut my mouth. I didn't say much because I don't want them to know that I'm an LPN. You never want your instructor to know you know more than she does or more on her level, because that's another way of eliminating you too. So there was this one girl, she would just say, oh, that's not what I do. And the instructor would look at her and get annoyed. I know she wasn't coming back next year, and I don't know what they did, but she didn't. So my advice, if you're LPN, just shut your mouth. Don't even let the other kids know that you an LPN. You have more experience, a little bit more experience than them, because you do. So don't even, I just be quiet. I started, because they have groups, and I had to choose, and I went to the group that was mostly was getting the answers. I don't know if they were getting the answer, but they know exactly what was on the test. Those are the students that the teacher made time for them, review with them. And so I got in their group and they were going like this, Patrice, this is what the instructor told me. This is what we got to study. And I take their advice. I just listen. That's all I listen, because I don't know nothing. I want to learn. That's how, in order for you to learn, act like you don't know. You learn more than you think, because somebody is able to teach you a quicker way. But if you act like you know everything, you ever get on a job, you've met somebody that know everything, just don't want to learn, no, I did that already, they close themselves off. So I was, they will help me in that aspect. And I would help them in clinical. And it's a give and take. And nursing school is really what the real world is in the hospital. You're going to meet mean staff members, mean, vindictive people. You're going to meet them. How you deal with people, personality, you there for a goal. That's your goal. You're there on a mission. You want to succeed, and that's what you focus on. Forget those that's going to try to pull you down. You're not going to be pulled down, because they don't have that over you. If you can think about that, if you can think about this, it's very stressful. Yes, they're going to try to weed you out. And I'm telling you, when I was thinking about becoming an RN, I had take some classes in New York, and it wasn't for me. I went and took chemistry. I think it was chemistry or one of the classes at Temple University. And the class was huge. I mean, huge. And I sit in the class. I was all the way back and looking down. The instructor was down there. And I said to myself, I don't think I could survive in this kind of environment. So I didn't go to that school. So I was glad that I met someone that went to Bucks County and told me about Bucks County Community College, because I tried Philadelphia Community College, but it was waiting list was 3 years, and I'm not about to wait 3 years. I need to get into this RN program. In my mind, when I focus on something, I want it to happen. And if it can't happen at that local level, I'm going somewhere. If I have to go to state or out of state, I will. That's how my mindset is. And I'm going to pass. I'm going to figure out which way. Yeah, I failed chemistry. I was disappointed. So what did I do? I went back that summer 1 and took chemistry. And I was prepared to take summer 2. If I didn't pass chemistry on summer 1, I was going to take it in summer 2, because I wanted to be in that nursing program. So you have to decide what you want and execute it. That's all I can say. But the reason why they weed you out. Nursing school wants you to pass. That's expected. They want you to pass. They want you to pass all your class. That's what you think I'm going to say. No, it's not about your class. They want you to pass the NCLEX. And so if they eliminate you for seeing, they can see that she's not going to. Based on your clinical, based on your test scores, based on your test scores is basically critical thinking skill, based on how you carry yourself, everything. No, she is not. That's how they determine you're not going to be the nurse for this school. And they don't want you to fail, because if you fail, they lost their accreditation. So why should I let this nurse go slide through the door? And then we lost our accreditation and got to wait to get it back. So That's the reason why they weed you out. They feel that you're not capable. Now, if they weed you out or they eliminate you and say, oh, you not fit to be a nurse, maybe you should wait a while, a year while. Please, 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 nursing, please, if you really want to be a nurse, don't listen to those advice. I've listened to counselor told me that I wasn't going to be, I couldn't be a nurse, I couldn't be anything, and I proved them wrong. That's how I do. I prove people wrong. So don't listen to the negative. You know that, okay, just like chemistry, it was a disappointment, but you go right back in and prove yourself. Yeah, I can do it. I didn't understand. Because you know, what I find at some of those university, they have instructors that you can't understand a darn English. I mean, I had struggled with English. Can you imagine? And they're teaching. They're the PhD level instructor. They teach. They forget that the student is just learning and the knowledge. But the way they teach you is like they teaching you on a PhD degree level. I hope I'm not saying anything that is not true because that's how I feel. Don't kill the messenger. I just was just thinking about it. I run across my thoughts about your relationship and nursing school. How the instructor, the first thing that she told us, was a relationship will never be the same. We may not have a relationship, and she was right. In nursing school, the stress level is so high, the difficulty. Can you imagine? You started out with 150 students, and the next semester all you see was 75. The most of the people that you got close to didn't make it, and so you worrying that are you going to be the one of the ones that's going to be eliminated next. So it's a constant worry. It's a constant. Some people eat, some people gain weight, some people never recover. They say this is not for me. Nursing school is too stressful. But I hope that if you watch this video that you would hang on. Okay, they didn't let you go on into nursing school. Find another school. And I think it's very difficult. You may think that I can't get back into another nursing program. Maybe if you wait it out and get back, if you want to come back to that school, you won't see none of the other students who know you. I strongly believe that when it's your time, it's your time. So sometime you may have to step back and come back at it. So don't even give up. Don't just keep at it. You will graduate. You will be one of the fortune lucky number that graduate. When you get in the real world, you'll understand why they were trying to weed you out or why they did weed you out, because it's the real world they was trying to teach you, because that's how the real world, you get on the job, they may not like you for no reason. Maybe you don't speak, you just listen, and they can't stand you. And they try to be vindictive. They try to be, they may think you have more than they do, and they try to hurt you in that way. And when I say hurt you, mean they figure out a way not to give you much work or not to even hire you just by judging you without getting to know you. So it's the real world. Nursing school is hard for a reason, because the different personalities that you're going to encounter is there. But if you didn't take anything from this video, I want you to take one thing. It's not about your instructor. It's not about the people that you work with on the job. It's about the patient. Number one thing is the patient. So when that instructor is drilling in, you didn't show up on time. You wasn't, think of this like the patient said, I called several times, the nurse didn't give me the medication. Every scenario in your life, think of it that way. It's the patient that they were trying to teach you, that you need to be critical. You see that the patient blood pressure is high and you avoid it. You didn't say anything. You didn't pass it to the other nurse. Critical thinking. All that they were trying to teach you. They know you weren't ready. And so that's why they weed you out. So I'm not talking about drugs. I'm not talking about is how you were eliminated. How they eliminate, how they base their judgment, whether you should move on to the next level in nursing school. So you made it. Congratulations. Now you sit for your boards. Now you're able to think critical. Now when you get on the job, you know how to deal with the personality. You know how to think critical. You know that everything that your patient that asks in you, you know what it is. And you congratulate you. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Share, comment. Comment, get me notice on YouTube. Have a wonderful day or night in your state or your country. Thank you.